I want to try and get the best relationship I can get, be as happy as I possibly can get, and I don't want Parkinson's to stop me from doing that. It's difficult, but I think I just want to always strive for something spectacular. I think we all deserve something spectacular. When I was first diagnosed with Parkinson's, I was actually just about to go into a relationship with someone. It was someone who was a friend, who I'd been friends with for years, and that felt quite nice because he knew me, he'd seen the situation that I'd gone through with the diagnosis, and he was very supportive. But then sort of near the end of it, I kind of started to worry and think, well, actually, did he think that he had to stay with me because I have Parkinson's, because I've had this horrible thing to deal with? It felt quite worrying to me. And I think that ultimately actually became one of the reasons why we sort of had a bit of a demise at the end, because actually I wasn't really sure whether he just felt bad, and actually not knowing that was really hard. And I'm sure he didn't. He wasn't the kind of person that would do that, but I think I just didn't know, and I wanted to kind of start something fresh with someone who knew from the start and could make that decision. That felt like something I wanted to do. It was quite strange. When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, I suddenly realised that actually for the rest of my life I was going to be stuck with this thing that I needed multiple people to be there for me for, and not just in a sort of a caring role or anything, but in like who I wanted around me at all times. And I think it made me realise that perhaps actually traditional relationships are not the right sort of thing for me. I mean, I don't know, I'm kind of yet to explore and see what that means, but do I need to just have one person in my life who's there for me? I really worry about that idea of someone becoming my carer rather than my boyfriend or partner. I kind of like the idea of being that whole idea of like a child being raised by a neighbourhood, kind of similar idea. I like the idea of kind of having a group of people that I really just love around me, friends, and some of those will be men, some of them will be women, who'll be my friends. And I think I don't necessarily need there to be just one person who, you know, is there for me all the time. I think I have so many people that are always there for me, and if there ends up being one person who's above and beyond that and the person I get to kiss, then bonus. But I think yeah, it kind of shifted my perspective on what I need from life and what I expect from it. I think I'm very ambitious in my job and in my life in general, and often that's quite difficult for men to kind of understand, that I want to be like that and I don't need to be protected. And I think it's very much part of my kind of future plans that any person I choose to be, you know, with me for life, I don't want them to have to be a carer. So I think part of my working hard and my kind of pushing myself at the moment is the fact that I'd like to be able to afford to pay for someone to do those things, to look after me, so that the person that I love can be the person that I love and they can just love me back. And I think I've seen people with Parkinson's have that, and it's really sort of felt like a good balance to be able to just keep, you know, you spend your whole life looking for someone who's the person that you want to be with. Why would you put them in a situation where they'd have to kind of look after you and things like that? It feels like a situation I wouldn't want someone to feel like they had to be in, that they could do if they wanted to, but actually they wouldn't have to be my carer. I'd want them to be my partner. That feels very important. So I feel like I'm sort of working towards that. That feels like something I'm working hard for, as well as wanting to do the best that I can in life. I think I always thought that I would have children when I was younger, but it's quite strange. A couple of my friends at the moment are kind of going through the process of having children on their own, or having children with partners. And I've realised that actually I don't need that in my life. I love having children around me. I've got brilliant nephews and brilliant friends' children's. But I think it's actually taken lots of pressure off, realising that I don't need to be a mum myself. I don't need that in my life to be happy, and I feel quite lucky that I have that feeling, because I know a lot of people, as they get older and are single, that ticking clock is really terrifying and quite daunting, and can really sort of incapacitate people to the point that they just don't know what to do with their lives anymore, and they maybe meet someone that's not right for them. And I think having that kind of moment of realisation that actually I wouldn't want my children to have to care for me either. I think that's where it kind of stemmed from, but then actually it's grown over time into me thinking, I need to be selfish to live with this condition. If I was out in the streets and my feet were cramping and my child was running away from me, what would I do? I couldn't do anything about it. And that really scares me, and I think that fear has kind of led to the point that I've realised that practically I don't want children, but actually I don't need them. I don't need to have them to feel like I've lived a full life, and I think that's something I feel very at peace with.
If you're interested in finding out more about Parkinson's, subscribe for a new video every Thursday.